This video is brought to you by Nokian Tires, a leader in safety and sustainability. Maximize performance and efficiency with their made in USA all-season tires and their dedicated Hakkapeliitta EV winter line from the inventor of the winter tire. Learn more at nokiantire.com/EV. This video is also brought to you by Magna, forward for all. Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Today we're going to be talking all about the new ID.3. Now recently I made a video with the new ID.4. My friend Chris from the Battery Life YouTube channel has made a video with the ID.5 facelift. And we're going to talk to you about the ID.3 facelift in this video. And I think it's actually really funny because I think Volkswagen forgot to facelift it. We're going to walk through all of the changes from the early Model 3 to the new one. We'll talk just about Volkswagen ID ownership with Chris. And of course, maybe some of you don't know, he had one of the first ID.3s in the world. So we'll just talk a little Volkswagen MEB platform history. Should be really fun, a little nerd fest. And I really want you guys to see Chris on the channel because if you like what we do, you'll love his stuff. So of course, links will be all over the place to his channel. So you guys join me. This is the blue ID.3 you've been seeing on our channel. It's a 58 kilowatt hour usable, pretty much fully spec'd ID.3 facelift. And then this is an ID.3 first edition owned by Chris. Welcome to Out of Spec, Chris.
Hello.
So tell me a little bit about your car and I guess all of the stuff that you've been doing with this for 3 years tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 3 years. Yeah, I was one of the first who could get his ID.3, was very happy. I ordered it almost 2 years before. I was one of the pre-bookers who ordered it extremely early without seeing it, without driving it.
And why? Why did you choose this car? Because, you know, before even you saw it or had a chance to sit in it, were you a Volkswagen guy? I mean, what brought you to this one?
Not at all. I never drove a Volkswagen in my life before, maybe a Golf from a friend, but I never owned one. I was never a fan. I'm still not a Volkswagen fan. I just like this car and I like ID models. No, I wanted to get an electric car, and it was my first electric car, by the way. And I drove electric, and I thought my future is electric. And I looked at all the other brands, and everyone was doing gigantic SUVs, Audi e-tron, I don't know, all gigantic cars, and I wanted a small car. And then yes, Renault did the Zoe, but this was then tiny and no range or anything. I wanted something in the middle, a bit of range and not the gigantic car. And then Volkswagen said, hello.
Yes, we have a cute dog who's come by to say hello. Okay. Alyssa, can you check to make sure that dog has an owner?
I think it belongs to there.
Okay, as long as they're kept. Okay, great.
And then Volkswagen announced, back in the day, it was called Neo.
Interesting.
The concept.
Okay.
You know, where even the Volkswagen logo, it is in Dresden.
Okay.
It's displayed in Dresden. It was a concept about the ID.3. It was called Neo. And I saw that and I said, that's a great idea. I want a smaller car, but still range, still good charging. And when they showed it, a bit still camouflage, not really done, but almost done, I thought, this is it. I want that. This is my car. They talked a bit about specs and price. Of course, the price was the lowest price with the smallest battery. And then when I ordered it, it was not their price.
Right, of course. This is how it always goes.
But I've never regret buying this car. I still love it.
Yeah, and you know, it still looks pretty much brand new in my eyes. And it's mostly because I don't live in Europe. I never see ID.3s. So whenever I see one in my head, I'm still like, that's the new ID.3, but it's 3 years old now. And what is the specification on this one? Do you have the 77 kilowatt hour or the...
This is the middle battery. The 77 didn't exist in the beginning.
Okay.
Even in the small one also. So this is the 62 usable 58. Now it's at around 53 kilowatt hours because I tested the car last year. Exactly today, a year ago, I tested it and had 10% degradation.
Wow.
And I'm testing it this week again.
So upcoming video on your channel, stay tuned.
Because the 3 year anniversary how the degradation is now. First year I had 8%, then a year later it was then up to 10%, and then I'm guessing 11 this year.
Okay,
We'll
yep,
see.
makes sense, because we've always seen with electric cars an initial hit.
Yeah.
And then, but that seems quite high.
I think it's because of how I use the car. This car has 56,000 kilometers.
Oh, wow.
I drove 15,000 in the first 3 months.
Oh, okay, so just a lot of DC charging.
And the first year, I would say 90% DC charging and a lot of DC charging to 100%. Not staying at 100% very long. So, I don't know, 10 minutes,
Yeah.
if even.
Yeah.
Or maybe overnight if I had to go somewhere the next day. But I had to go to a lot of places, and I did a lot of tests, range tests, winter tests, at this speed, going 1,000 kilometers, how it is. And it was a lot of 100% charging, and that's why I think it lost the 8% in the first year.
You know, I was with another journalist yesterday. We were having lunch in Italy, actually, and he also has a early ID.3 58 kilowatt hour usable. And he actually estimated similar degradation to what you're seeing as well.
Yeah.
And he primarily AC charges his car. Now, he hasn't done a full test, of course. So I was like, you got to, watch your degradation test and do the same thing, because there's only really one way to do this, and you have to drive it. And so it'll be interesting to see what he comes back with.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking maybe the degradation is slightly worse than what we've seen from Tesla and others.
What I see is, for example, Hyundai Kona has almost no degradation, but
Yes.
I think that's a software thing.
Yes,
It's not possible that the battery doesn't degrade.
they
It's just-
have to be eating into the buffer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the software knows that, and that's why, because I tested a Kona, I don't know, half a year ago or something. It was a few years old, and the test said 99%. I have a test from an Austrian company where you put OBD dongle in there, Evilu, and then they tell you charge to 100%. You drive. It doesn't matter how you drive. They know exactly the heat of the battery. They measure that, and then they know how much is lost.
Right.
And then you drive it down to 10%, and then they tell you, hey, you have this much degradation. But I also always do the manual test. So I drive with 90 kilometers an hour at steady speed.
Yes.
No heat, no waste of heat.
Right.
So that almost everything that the battery has capacity goes into driving, and then I calculate it.
That's how we do our test as well. The lowest possible speed that's without getting run over. But that sucks. They really suck.
It was my first test I did with this car. I went on the highway, drove 90 kilometers an hour GPS, so 93 what the
Yeah.
car shows, and I drove 450 kilometers for 5 hours.
It's like the worst thing you can do with your life.
It was okay. I did it with a live stream, so it was a lot of fun. It was new back then.
Yep.
Now, if I do it tomorrow, nobody would watch that.
Yeah, sure. So on your channel, did it start around this car, or had you already been testing electric
I've been
cars?
testing a few cars before. I think I had an e-Golf, a Hyundai Ioniq, and a Nissan Leaf. Not too many. I think Volkswagen were the first that gave me a press car, the e-Up.
Oh, great. That's a fun one.
There was 6 months before the ID.3 came out. I was very happy about that.
Yeah, that's
Press
amazing.
car. Oh my God, what do I do? I get a car for free.
I still remember my first press car, so
Amazing.
you'll never forget that. But now, of course, you don't just test Volkswagen, you test everything.
I test everything I can get. I don't get everything. There's a lot of car makers that don't give me cars.
I think they're afraid of the testing.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Porsche, I asked Porsche, and they just told me honestly, and I like that.
Yeah,
I ask a lot of car makers, they don't write back, and then I'm like, huh?
yeah,
I know. But Porsche said, you're just too small. End of story.
okay, yeah.
We don't see any benefit for us, and that's okay.
Yeah, as long as they're open with that. Yeah, the not getting a response is always rough.
I had a problem with Kia in the beginning because Kia weirdly said, we are Kia Germany, we're for the German market, your videos are in English, we don't care.
Huh.
And I said, but isn't Kia international company, then advertising and showing people, customers, just not in Germany? No. And not because of them. I opened a German channel as well, but not because of them, because I have noticed it with other brands as well. And since I have the German channel, I get Kia and I get other cars as well.
Okay,
So
interesting. Okay, great. So I guess back to the main topic of the video, which is old ID.3, new ID.3. And for which model year, because you're really the ID.3 expert, I would say, on YouTube, I think, at least.
Not extremely deep. So I don't know the cells, the voltage of the cells, or
Sure,
I
sure.
wouldn't even know the brand. I'm totally, I think it's LG,
LG.
but I'm not. I know the voltage.
Yep.
And I know capacity and everything. This was built, I think, a year before it was delivered.
Oh, no way.
Because they were starting to build the cars, and then they noticed, hey, the software doesn't work yet.
This was a huge
It
debacle.
was, oh my God. They stored the cars, I don't know, thousands of ID.3 first editions somewhere. It was even found by Nextmove, another YouTube channel, a German one. They found it, and then they were still working on the software, and then shortly before delivery started, every car was driven into a tent, updated, and then driven out the next one.
I remember that. So this was one of them that was parked in the field wherever they were.
Exactly.
Before it got updated. It was honestly such a bad PR story for Volkswagen, because the parking lot looks so similar to the Dieselgate cars that were sitting there, and it was just like, oh, they can't even get their electric cars right. And it's been, I would say now 3 years on, they still suffer from the software. You know, that's the first thing everyone says about the ID cars. Looks great, drives great, quiet, software sucks. And so, you know,
I disagree.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
I totally disagree. I have been with Chris Reefer 2 days ago, and he said the same. He loves how it drives. He doesn't like the capacitive buttons.
Yeah,
and things.
I like those, but yeah, that's personal
I'm okay
preference.
with them. I'm not the biggest fan, but it's fine. I have no problem.
Yeah.
But he also says software infotainment system. And I got the car with the earliest software version that you can get. It was 1 point something.
Okay.
And I had big problems. Like I just told you, the 12-volt battery problem that a lot of cars had, where the battery is not being charged when it was parked. So, and then there was a problem. Something was taking juice out of the 12-volt battery, and then in November, next morning, battery was empty. 12-volt battery. I had to have a booster, and then it worked again. That happened twice, so it wasn't the biggest problem, and they fixed it very fast. But the first 3 months, it had a lot of problems, but the most problems it had were error messages that weren't real. So you were driving, and then it said motor error, go to service, go to workshop, whatever, and then you stopped the car, started it again, and it was gone.
So just little bugs like that.
Bugs, airbag was a big thing that showed an airbag error message, which worked. It was fine.
We actually have that on Alyssa's sister's ID.4 still, and they can't fix this one. Yeah.
In the States, in the States, that ID.4 is suffering of more software problems than here.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely true. We have, you know, both her mom and her sister drive ID.4, and they both have had major software bugs. The usability, the UX UI is not a topic, not a problem for them, but the like warning messages are. And one of them, Volkswagen Lemoned, the first one, Alyssa's mom's car, they bought it back because it was just leaving her stranded. The car went into some protection mode. I don't know, but the new one's okay for her, so that's good.
For me, this was 3 months. In January, I got 2.1 software. Since then, I don't have any problems with this car. Not just tiny things. Sometimes Android Auto doesn't work and stuff.
Okay.
But I'm lucky, since I got this car extremely early, and I'm leasing this car. I got the first 3 months for free. So why would I complain?
You got a free car.
I got 3 months free a car, and it had a few software problems. I was fine with it.
Okay, great. I love the attitude. And honestly, there was nothing on the market that could compete with this at the time. Hatchback, long range, relatively okay charging to get around. It was really the only one.
The only competitor which wasn't a hatchback was the Hyundai Kona here.
Right.
Similar price, worse charging. Only 70 kilowatt in perfect conditions, way more efficient, bigger battery, software It's okay, but navigation, you know, you have to
Yeah,
the EV6.
I honestly prefer this car over the Hyundai myself. So, okay, on the car, you've had 3 years in it. It's a first edition. You have the white steering wheel, which doesn't look, it doesn't look terrible. It looks pretty good.
And this is dirty because I rarely clean it. I have cleaning things somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I
Okay.
never do. It looks, I mean, this is dirt, but the white overall, it didn't change. So it's not gray or anything.
Yeah, it looks better than Alyssa's mom's wheel. The small screen, I don't think I've ever seen that screen before.
10-inch, yes.
10-inch, okay.
And
is whatever's behind it, is that normal?
Oh no, that's I got this from. I made a video about a company that does accessories for the ID.3.
Okay.
And this is one of them. So this is, I think, the thought about around it is to
like
put,
a 3D printed thing. Yeah.
It's to put sunglasses in there.
Oh, okay, that's really nice.
And I haven't used it once.
Oh, okay, that's really funny.
I have one for the middle. I have those from them. I have in the trunk something. This is amazing. In the trunk, the thing is amazing.
Yeah.
So it never gets dirty.
Yeah, looks good.
This car can't get dirty because I have we have 3 dogs, and the rear seats are full with a dog blanket.
Great.
So
that's how our cars look too. Perfect.
There's no dirt on these seats. Are new. I think there were 3 people in the 3 years for half an hour on it.
So it's basically a brand new back seat. Yeah, very cool. So okay, this is the new ID.3 for 2023. Or how did they do it? Did they do it a half-year update? Is it aligned with a model year?
I don't even know.
I don't know either.
To be honest.
But the way to spot a new one is the easiest thing, I think, is this little indentation in the hood.
Really?
What do you think is the easiest way? The black strip. But if it's a black one, then this doesn't really show up so well.
Black strip and...
Right. Yes. Air intake on the front bumper for sure. So, Chris, you were saying that you were talking to Volkswagen about the ID.3 facelift, and they were saying this is truly a facelift. It is a design upgrade. But then you were also discussing, and we both were at the same event where we were able to drive the, I would call it, facelift ID.4, ID.5.
It's a new car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so they're just basically, just a technical update.
A big technical update.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted. Nobody complained about how the ID.4, 5, or ID.3 looked like, I think.
No, I don't think the styling was needed at all. Why did Volkswagen forget to update this car? Because the ID.4 and 5 have now software 4.0 or even newer. Really snappy, great route planner, battery preconditioning, all the new motor. And then they updated this one and it has nothing. So what was the deal?
I think they, again, rushed it because people were complaining about the interior. I'm on the Volkswagen ID Drivers Club Facebook group where people that own an ID.3 or ID.4, 5 bus and so on can be on there and say, I don't know, I just drove 1,000 kilometers, this was my consumption, or I have a problem with this, I don't like this, I love this. And the consensus was the interior looks cheap of the original ID.3. Even from the start, I was at the back in the day Frankfurt Motor Show when the IAA was still in Frankfurt in 2019.
Yep, we were there at that one. Yep.
And I saw the ID.3 for the first time. Well, before was the camouflaged one.
Sure.
But to be inside, and from the start, everybody said it's going to be a 40,000 euro car and it looks cheap inside.
Yeah, let's show everyone the inside. So do you know some of the main topics of complaints that everyone had?
Oh, you want to sit? I go to the other.
Yeah, sure. Sounds great. Sounds great. Because to me, okay, this is maybe, it's not even that hard touch plastic. I personally like the interior. I'm not here to defend Volkswagen. I just don't understand.
I have no problem with it. They didn't like this because it's plastic. They didn't like this because it's plastic.
Okay, but this is soft touch up here.
And in the door. It looks, they said it's a 40,000 or this was a 46,000 euro car.
Okay.
When it started. And
this I understand.
Why? I don't have a problem with it. I'm not touching. Why would what
well, because my elbow's always on it.
No.
So you put your elbow down there. See, I put my elbow up.
I'm here because this is the perfect. That's why I don't look here too.
These are the best, by the way.
These are the best thing.
Yes.
You have freedom. You have space. This is all free.
Yep.
And you still have an armrest. And I have it. I mean, this is soft. I think this is how it's planned to be.
And what's crazy is in the US ID.4, they got rid of this. So now we have, yes, isn't that wild? The US ID.4 has a fixed console now, and they got rid of this. It is so stupid. I love these. So, yeah.
No. For me, it was I touch this, I touch this, I touch this, I touch this. I don't touch this. I don't care if this is plastic back there and this. And
no,
this
that
and
doesn't
this.
matter so much. Honestly, the interior feels very similar to the one we're driving, but we will show the differences to the facelift. But I think what they really missed out on, and we should talk about it a little more in the other car, is delaying this one more year and, do the styling changes, which no one's going to notice, and then wait to put the big screen in with the backlit things, which that was never a problem for me. That was more of a journalist complaint, I think.
No, people complained.
So owners complained about that too?
You drive at night, you don't even see where the volume or the temperature is.
Yeah, I've never had an issue with that personally.
I don't have an issue too. I do the volume here and the temperature, I know it's somewhere here.
Yeah, sure. Amazing.
I'll find it somewhere there. So.
But either way, it's welcome upgrades, real usable differences with the new ID.4, ID.5. And the ID.3 facelift only came out, 2 months ago? 3 months ago?
I think delivery started in... Oh my God. No, you're right. You're right. I looked at it the first time in March, and they said it's summer, it's going to be at the dealer. And then I think right now, it's coming to people.
Okay, so
customers.
Deliveries are starting now,
Exactly.
Basically September 23.
And people that ordered an ID.3 and, a year ago, the delivery time was a year or more. They even got a letter that it's possible that they will get a facelift.
Okay.
And they have to sign if this is okay for them.
Okay. That's
so
interesting.
They didn't even know which car they were getting. Now its delivery time is 2 or 3 months because...
Yeah, the whole market's gone crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I think it's not a problem right now. If you order an ID.3 right now, or even 2-3 months ago, you get the facelift.
You get the facelift. But the timing on the facelift is interesting because start of production on ID.4 facelift that Volkswagen doesn't call a facelift, I don't know, the new ID.4 and ID.5 is only next month. So they should have just waited.
Do you know it is next month? I only know it's in fall.
Oh, yeah. Well, so in the U.S., I guess pre-series starts in October, November, and February is when deliveries start. So, it's maybe 4 to 6 months, something like that. But again, the styling on, let's go show everyone the next car. It's not worth rushing this. They should have waited, put the new motor in the new car. And so the main topic that my question is why is Volkswagen updating a car that this is not considered a facelift to me, or something like this? Okay. Those are the two main things. And they also got rid of this little sticker. That's on the old one. This one doesn't. I like the sticker. I wish that was still there. But I mean, the taillights are slightly different as well. You can see this one in the back and this one in the back look actually the same.
Except for the light.
The light inside is different.
This here is a light. This is just a reflector.
Okay. So
exactly the same.
They made this a light because I was picturing, I guess I didn't really realize this looked different, but everyone had talked about how they had changed this. So I assumed that's not worth a facelift upgrade.
And there's a negative point.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Negative point for me, especially in the older version, there's this badge where you can see what car it is.
Yeah.
The first edition, a Pro S, I don't know, Pure, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, they thought of putting this here instead of here, but then they deleted it overall. So I have no idea what battery you have.
Right. So if you're trying to buy a used one or anything, you really have to rely on, I don't know, someone knowing their stuff.
And Volkswagen doesn't know either. Because I got a facelift as a press car to test for a week. They told me beforehand it is a 58 kilowatt hour battery. It arrived. I had to sign something. It said on a piece of paper 58 kilowatt hour battery. I looked inside, had a range of 500 kilometers. That's weird. And That's a bit much. And he just drove highway, and I looked at the papers, and it was a 77. So they didn't know.
They didn't even know.
No.
Okay.
Can't see it.
Let's hop inside. First of all, these seats. Do you know if these seats are optional or are these the new standard seat?
No, it's not standard. That's the top sport seats.
These are the top sport seats. They're like the GTX seats.
You can have mine. I think, no, that they updated the seats. I have the old crap. And now they call it the premium comfort or whatever.
Okay.
So the new seat should be better, but these are the sport seats.
Yeah, I love these seats. Massage function as well, which is great.
You can have that in the other seats too. It doesn't have to be this.
Sure, yeah. Same with the older ID4s. And then they have conveniently provided this spec sheet. Yeah, this is wonderful. So coefficient of drag of 0.263. Here are the different wheel options. And their selective modifications to the exterior details ensure that the ID.3 expresses its unmistakable design in even more striking style.
Nicely said.
So we have the update to the design.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, more sustainability.
That's true.
Charging speeds are increased to what we've actually already had, and then we should talk about that on this car in a minute because that's only for the big battery pack. And yeah.
Well, originally I had 100.
You had 100 when your car was delivered.
The peak till, sorry.
Yeah, we'll go just a little bit on this one.
No, when I got the car, peak was 100 kilowatt till software 3.0, which I got 4 months ago.
Okay, so very recently.
No, it's longer. Sorry. I think it's almost a year.
Okay.
But no, it was 2.4. Exactly. 2.4. Since then, it can charge with 130 kilowatt under 15% till 20%. So I did a test with it. I know how my car is charging, how long it takes from 10 to 80%.
Yep.
And it's 2 minutes faster.
Okay.
So
it makes no difference.
The big battery, significantly better.
Yes. And we have already had in the US the new faster charging on every ID4 built in Chattanooga for the most part. There's just a handful that have the old LG battery, but yep. So we're in the new one instantly. Okay. Door completely changed. It's now soft touch material, just things, but this big plastic piece is still there. And now
still piano
black. So it gets all the fingerprints.
That's why I have white.
This is stitched now. This feels like the same material on the top of yours, but this is definitely nicer.
Yeah.
They now say, in case you forget what you're driving.
You might forget. The door handle, or how you call it inside,
door handle. Yep.
Is now pointing downwards, and mine is pointing upwards.
Whoa. Holy smokes.
Can you see it from
Yes, we can. Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's the line.
I love that you know that.
No, I noticed it. I had the car for a week, and then I thought, every time I went out, this is different. What is different? What is it? And then, because in mine it goes up and here it goes down. You just notice it when you get out in and out of a car.
This is the detailed car analysis we need on YouTube. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so yeah, the rest of this looks fairly similar. We still have the great armrests, which is awesome. And so, yeah, this one has the bigger screen compared to yours, but we're on the same software version now, I believe.
Nope. You have a facelift, you have 3.5. I have the most updated car you can have that's not new, and that's 3.2.
Okay. So if it's new, they give you 3.5.
Exactly.
Will your car ever get 3.5?
I have no idea. They don't even know.
They really need to work on the software
They
team.
Canceled the over-the-air update 3.2 because it took so long and it didn't work on so many cars. You have 3.5. And then they said, this is horrible for the people waiting. Let's invite them to the dealer and they get the update at the workshop. And I think it was a good idea.
Okay.
Because otherwise people would have waited a year. And so within 2-3 months...
They got through the whole fleet.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting.
Not everyone has it, of course, now, because people have other things to do. Then 8-hour update.
Yeah, sure. That's crazy. 8 hours.
That means you bring it there in the morning, and sometimes it's not even done on the same day. You need a loaner, which you get for free. Okay. But mostly not electric. And then you get it the next day. Mine was in for 3 days, and I think the dealership was bad.
Okay, yeah. But like, you know, in the amount of time we've taken to film this video, I think my Rivian has gotten 3 software updates. You know, it's just like Volkswagen's just, yeah, they just got to get with the program on this.
Volkswagen has one big problem. They're an old company and they're a big company. That means there are old people still in charge. And I noticed this in everything. I have a lot of contact with Volkswagen people on the front. So
Yeah.
they are with the people. They are at the Facebook group, what I just said. They are with me, for example, and other press people that drive the car, that own the car. And then there are the old people that are extremely high up that make decisions, and for them it's no, not so fast.
Yeah.
This has to first of all, it has to work. This has to go through this has to go through legal, has to go through this and this and this has to be blah, 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 blah. Everything takes way longer, so a tiny change and then an update that doesn't work with Volkswagen.
Right.
And I don't see it ever happening.
I totally agree. And actually, I think this mentality, and it's not just with software, it's with the entire company, is a real competitive disadvantage with the Chinese and with the American brands.
Exactly. They are just very slow to adapt. That they even are building electric cars now, and that they want to be fully electric. What is it, 35?
Yeah, something like this.
That's immense.
Yeah, totally.
For this company, what I have heard from Volkswagen employees, how the structure is in the company, and when I talk to other people, I talk to higher people, marketing, what I said before, the marketing boss and everything, they really want to change. It just takes some time. And quick story, before the ID.3 came out, I think almost a year before, there was a prototype drive with customers, not with press people, with customers in Dresden. They invited, I don't know, 50 people that pre-booked the ID.3, invited them. Hey, we have 4 or 5 ID.3 prototypes here. You can drive with the car, not with. You drive yourself on a racetrack. It was a route that took 5 minutes or so.
Okay, yeah.
Accelerated to 120, did a few cornering, and then they showed the turning circle, because it's amazing.
It is, yes.
Hello, you're just almost standing still and turning like a tank. And they did this, and afterwards they told me what horribly complicated and process this was, that this could happen, because everybody in Volkswagen said you cannot let customers drive a not finished car. That's
Oh, wow.
impossible. You can't do that. It has to be press people, and they and what if they get out and say it's a crappy car, we can't have this. It was a lot of work for them to make this happen, and I loved them for this. It was amazing.
Totally. You know, and we know similar people inside Volkswagen. There are a few who really get it and push so hard and honestly put their jobs on the line, not just with Volkswagen, but also in BMW, Mercedes, other Volkswagen Group brands that really see the way the companies need to go. But it almost seems like the middle level management and upper level management sometimes really holds things up, and it's like this many layered effect. Just my outside looking in on German work culture, it really puts them at a huge disadvantage. And I think that this is proof of this, more or less, because the facelift, again, we're really struggling to show you the differences. That one has a black top of the hood. This one doesn't. Okay. Like, maybe they could have sent an email and said, hey, why don't you just wait 6 months? We're about to launch an entirely new motor, infotainment system, and just hold the ID.3 facelift. No one would complain that much.
I don't think so. You're totally right, but I think their reasoning was okay, because everything works a bit slower in this big company. I think they delivered the car 6 months later. They looked what the people are saying, and they said, I don't like this. It looks cheap. I don't want this hood, the black hood thing, blah 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 blah. And they thought, let's change this. And then it took 2 years to change.
It took 2 years from the beginning.
I think so.
That makes more sense.
Design, then, no, let's grab this. Let's do this again. It's not I have no idea how long Tesla took to do the facelift of the new Model 3.
It couldn't have been 2 years.
2 years.
No way. No way it was 2 years.
Maybe technology, if there's a new motor, the engineering takes a lot of time. I would get this, but for design, for a few parts, that should take 3 months, and then that's it. But I think it just took that long, and then they started developing the ID.7, and then they came up with an idea with the new 15-inch screen. They heard that people are complaining that this down here doesn't have lights because of this gesture control.
Yep.
There are infrared sensors in here, and then
So do the light up ones not have gesture?
the new ones don't have
Yeah.
gesture control.
I did not know
Because of
that.
this.
Ah,
Because of
okay.
that. Because they're in here. When you film this, you should even see this with the camera. There should be little blinking thing. You know that with BMW,
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
see the blinking. It
I
should
don't
be
think I've
here.
ever noticed it before,
It's in
actually.
here, and that's why it's not illuminated, and people complain about it. I cannot even adjust the temperature and the volume when it's dark.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, let's change this. The same with the capacitive buttons. They want to change that too, but this will, again, take at least 1 or 2 years.
Because this didn't even make it into the ID.7. I was talking to the ID.7 product planner that they wanted to change the capacitive buttons to physical buttons. And they said, well, I'm like, and also put 4 window switches on it. And it's like, why didn't you just do that for the launch of the car? It only has 2 switches.
Does the ID.7 have 2? I thought it had 4.
No, it has 2.
Oh, I forgot.
And I gave the, Francisca, who joined us, she's the spokesperson for ID.7. She's great. But I was like, why didn't you just update the things you wanted to? She was already talking about what they're changing in the facelift for ID.7. But I'm like, just put it in the car now.
No, because it always, and they told me, I once asked them, why don't you change this like this? And they no, because this has to do with the software, then the software has to be rewritten, and then it has to work on the old cars when you have a software. And
It's
then for the new
such
one,
a disadvantage.
It's all this connected somehow, and then it's not just we put new buttons in and that's it. And then because it's a big company, it's okay. How do you do the buttons? What material is it? When you press it, how do you get it now that you can do 10 kilometers an hour and 1 kilometer an hour change? How do you do that? Do you have more buttons now? Because you can't do that.
This is such
can't do swiping
and you're
and everything.
100% accurate. But also, like, on the other hand, Volkswagen still managed to build an electric car that's great. Yeah. So these are still great cars.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
I love them. I love how they drive. And I've tested, I don't know, 50 different electric cars in the last 3-4 years. And I think for the price, on the level of price that they're the most comfortable. Of course, you can get an Audi, a Mercedes. It's as comfortable, as quiet, but we're talking about double the price. An
Yes.
ID.3 you can buy, I think starting price is 40.
Yep.
Not sure right now. It's a quiet car, very stable, even at 160 kilometers. I can drive 160 and have one finger here, and it's totally comfortable.
I was allegedly eating a sandwich driving 160 today. Yeah, allegedly, with the travel assist.
You don't even need that. I don't have travel assist, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It just drives. It's stable. It's comfortable. The suspension is not too sporty and not too soft. And don't want to bash Tesla, but I drove a Model Y made in China and the performance one made in Germany, and it's a different taste, and I get that. It's a sporty car. Let's make a sporty suspension, but it's not my thing.
Yeah, well, let's wait for the new Refresh 3 with the new suspension. They may, I hope they made it way more comfortable.
I hope so. I don't think so, because I still think they want it to be a sporty car. Tesla wants to show, look, we have 500 horsepower in a long range.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. Well, let's pop out. Let's do a quick little wrap up on this. But overall, we have literally the first or second ID.3 ever delivered to a customer, a very early now refresh car. And the only thing I can think of, actually, there was one last point that I wanted to bring up with you, which is the charging speed that I've noticed on this one. Same battery pack as yours. I've charged this car when it had the new software update and got 134 kilowatts, something like this. Yep. This one, the most I've been able to get in 5,000 kilometers, running it to 0, plugging in at 5%, 10%, is 126.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is so weird. And so it's like, I wonder if they just knocked 10 kilowatts off the top.
I wonder if they have a new battery in the facelift, so same size and everything, but a tiny bit different chemistry, and now they think, no, let's not do 134. And like I told you before, it's 2 minutes.
Right. It's not a big
It's
difference.
not, it
But
doesn't
what do you
anything.
do at 50% state of charge in this one? Do you know?
70.
70? Okay.
Even.
Yeah, so same on this one.
Yeah.
Really bad charging
They're
curve.
really bad when they're not under 15%.
Right. You have
Even
to
at
run them
16.
out. Yeah, 16% not good, 15
You
still
don't
good.
get peak charging power. And this was a big thing when I got the car and I made my videos. I got so many complaints, and on the Facebook group, I don't get they were advertised with 100 kilowatt DC charging power. Why is this not working? And then everyone you have to tell, it has to be under 15% and the battery has to be warm. So people were at home in the winter, drove to Ionity because, oh, I forgot this. I got 500 euro charging credit with the first edition as well.
Oh, okay.
Not just the 3 months for free.
Well, 500 euros gets you a good distance.
I had it for almost a year.
Okay, nice.
And so people went to Ionity for charging. They didn't charge at home. They used the 500 euro credit. And like I said, in the winter at home, drove 10 kilometers and then didn't get 100 kilowatt. Of course not.
Right, yes.
But newer cars now, I mean, Hyundai, Ioniq 5 and Kia EV6, you plug them in at 60% and get 230
They're insane. So yeah, the charging speed here is still a big limitation. You know, there's more to do. I think just to kind of end the video and to thank you for taking so much time and sharing your experience with your ID.3. My impression is I wish they would have waited. I wish they wouldn't have confused the market by putting, a little hood scoop here, an indentation there, ripping a sticker off there, some interior differences. And I wish they would have put the new motor in it, the, new software, because ID.4 and ID.5 are so much more competitive than they were before. And they're honestly fantastic cars. ID.3 feels like they didn't really give it that much love. Do you think next year again, we'll see another technical update come to ID.3, or do you think they'll leave it on the old software?
No, they're gonna change it.
They will change it.
The ID.3 will not get the motor.
Okay, so it's going to keep
only the ID.3 GTX will get the 210 kilowatt motor. So more power. But the normal ID.3s will still have 150 kilowatt, even though it's less efficient. It's just stupid.
That's insane.
It's stupid. Or I don't know. Maybe they give it the same motor, but software limit
Detune
the
it. Yeah. Huh.
Possible. But
this is confusing decisions. Maybe Volkswagen should talk to you more often.
And explain.
Yeah.
I told them I want an all-wheel drive, and they said there's no room for a front motor, even though they built one.
Right. Yeah. They have that in the R version, whatever they did.
But they also said that, it's not safety confirm and everything. And they told me there's no space for a front motor in the ID.3.
Okay.
I have to believe them. What can I say?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. Thanks, Chris, for taking the time. Again, if you like the tests, if you like getting especially a German perspective of new cars launching here in this market and all the range and charging tests, definitely take a look at his channel. I'll make sure it's pinned in the top comment and linked everywhere. I'm a viewer, a fan. For years we've been trying to do this, and so I'm glad that we finally got together to do this. And there you go. So thanks for watching. We'll see you all in another one soon. Bye.